Right now, I'm absolutely fuming, and you'll see why by the end of this video. We've had so much evidence recently that people just should shockingly wake up at an accelerated rate. I'm going to just briefly outline what you're going to see. I'm going to show you some amazing books on weather modification, some incriminating evidence which is totally undeniable, evidence that you wouldn't believe exist on climate and weather modification. That's a video I'm going to show you in a minute on the books. What I'm also going to show you is I posted photos up from satellites on actual weather modification in progress, and then I'm going to show you the reaction that this did on mainstream media on the weather that's taking place exactly right now as I'm speaking to you. I'll show you all the different frequencies that have been used in the cloud formations, chemtrails that were laid in the last 48 hours, the heating that took place in the Atlantic, the weather that's taking place right now, and how you can see the reaction within the cloud formations, and what's in the news right now, looking at the videos, and also how the jet stream was manipulated northwards, and you can see in the wind profile there that I'll show you later. So let's come round to the video. So just watch this. I've gone through about 7 or 8 books and quoted just some interesting parts of them. There's massive more information, but we'll take this for the time being. WNS. This is a massive book, really thick. Very old this one is. I've got the same one here, but this one, I'll come back to this one in a minute. So that was one of the books. Let me take the video right back to the beginning, and we'll see that it goes through step by step. Here is a list of numerous books on weather modification. Now please bear with me, because some of the information in here is absolutely incredible. These are books written by scientists, experts in the weather, and very knowledgeable people that know exactly what is going on today, if they're still alive, because some of these books go back to information of 1947. Now, bear with me. Let's start at the beginning. Here's a book on the weather business and weather modification and forecasting. They know exactly how to form clouds from particulates, how precipitation works from years ago. And as it says here, the work of V.I. Schaefer, well known, undertaking experiments done with General Electric Research Laboratory at Schenectady in New York. The production and simulation of ice crystals, and Schaefer found that a tiny particle of solid carbon dioxide, which is what they've been using and still use today, carbon dioxide, yeah, which is renowned as the poison, but they are spraying it willy-nilly, and it gave the same results. Implication of these results were truly enormous. Experiments in the atmosphere in November 1946, supercooled, minus 18.5 degrees. Allostratus cloud, 6 kilometers long, was seeded with 3 kilograms of dry ice. At the same time, Schaefer was assessing the possibilities of dry ice seeding, working on a similar theme in 1947. Found that silver iodide smoke had the property of causing snowflakes to form in a supercooled cloud. Now, this is technology they knew many years ago and is still being used today. Now, I'm going to show you on satellite what happened last night, in the last 24 hours, over the Atlantic and the UK. Mike Hume, another book, Can Science Fix Climate Change? On the back, it says, and I read, Mike Hume eloquently and rationally outlines the arguments against proposals to use stratospheric aerosols to cool the planet, and questions the ethics of even researching them, regardless of whether one agrees with his conclusions. There's no doubt that he definitely makes the case that must be answered. by proponents. And that was by Steve Rayner, Oxford University. Another book, Weather and Climate Modification, WNS. This is a massive book, really thick. Very old this one is. I've got the same one here. But this one, I'll come back to this one in a minute. This one here, they've got the rainmaking dance in there. This is what they've been into for years. And he mentions here, can cloud seeding produce severe weather? I'm about to show you that it did today. That was back in 1974. Bloody amazing. Big book there. Same book here. Let's look at this one. They fully understand precipitation. 1974. What's this one about? Lightning modification. How about that? They now control lightning. That was years ago. Now the blighters do it. Here's another book, Weather and Climate Modification. 1970, Simpson et al. Simpson, to study whether neighbouring clouds can be made to merge after seeding into mesoscale cloud clusters. The information's here. It's overwhelming. I've been reading these books for a number of months now. One I've had for 2 years. Every piece of information, and don't dare any shill try knock on my face and say what a load of rubbish, because this information will blow you into fucking orbit. Right, the experimental designs made use of 4 aeroplanes. Here's an actual example they did. 4 aeroplanes and a command and control aircraft. They boxed each cloud at a distance of 35 miles, directing the other aircraft relative to the cloud echo by means of radar. Almost continuous documentation on cloud and echo growth. They achieved what they wanted to do. Another piece of evidence. This will blow your brains out. I've had shills coming to me and saying, you couldn't get an aircraft carry that much particulates. It'd have to be thousands and thousands of tons. I've never heard such a load of bullshit ever. I'm angry because we have the information and they're doing it in front of our eyes. Look at this cloud here. This cloud was affected and produced and enlarged, took it up to 6,000 feet. What did they do? Cloud seeded. Let me see if I can get the focus in this. A cloud seeded by Dr. Shelton Elliott with 1/2 gram of silver iodide. 1/2 gram. Yes, I read it right. The photograph was taken 7 minutes after the left-hand side was seeded and shows the left-hand side snowing. The right side remains unaffected, although later circulation within the cloud caused precipitation from the entire cloud. Snow on one side, torrential rain on the other. Amazing. That was years and years ago. What do you think they're up to now? The photograph was taken on March the 8th, 1966, over Panamint Valley, California, and was provided by Naval Weapons Center, China Lake, California. Naval weapons. I ask you. Amazing, hey? Statistical analysis of weather modification experiments. Another one. And here we have this one. The weather business and modification. Exactly how to make it rain. Now, have a look at the weather satellite for the United Kingdom on Saturday, December the 5th. Amazing, they were chemtrailing over the clouds. So the slimy cunts, we couldn't see it. We've had massive windstorms, flooding, parts of the Lake District, banks have burst. Just watch. So, I'm going to show you those videos now. We'll look at the formations of the weather. That was the previous one we saw in the wind. I posted on my Facebook page these pictures. They are definitely not natural. I've gone back 4 to 5 years Very, very rare do you see this type of cloud formation, and they were doing it back then. And what I believe is the earliest ones I could find were experiments and progress to where we are now. But these are incredible. These go on to make an enormous storm over the UK, and it's COP21. They're looking at climate change, so they need something along the lines of climate chaos. Yeah, it rings a few bells, yeah? Electronically modified cloud systems, clouds being generated from focal points. One small spot out in the ocean I've got pictures of, a small dot where the sea is heated up, and then massive clouds downwind of there to put the moisture in the atmosphere so they can chemtrail it later. So there's some of your frequencies. Now this is the day before the storms, and that was December the 4th, 12 o'clock midday. Now it looks what you would think was normal, but let's zoom into this. The closer you go, the more chemtrails you see. The cloud seeding has taken place there, above the clouds. The odd time you could see a gap through the cloud, I saw 3 and 4 chemtrails being laid. And this isn't just in this area, it doesn't matter where you go around, you can see. And this, bear in mind, half the other chemtrails have dissipated into the cloud formation. But when you zoom in, you can see, look, one there, one there. There's line after line after line. Look at that, 4 together. Chemtrails, done. Why? Because they want to cause this climate chaos. The whole of the country was sprayed. There's another 3. Look. Irrefutable. So, and it goes on and on, all around the UK, over Ireland. So, you can see that they premeditated, and as this cloud drifts up to the UK, they sprayed it ahead of itself. Now it doesn't just stop there. When we look at world view, which is what this is, you can see the heating formations within the clouds. These are EMF, electromagnetic frequencies, that they use in transmitters. I've posted up some information. When they generate like HARP, it goes up into the atmosphere and it creates 100 times more energy by using the frequency and the ionization of the atmosphere that is already there. The energy is already there. What they do, they manipulate it, and you can see the frequencies that go perpendicular to the wind direction. Amazing. You get some frequencies at 90 degrees of the wind direction. That's impossible. Jim Hayward from the Met Office in a private conversation told me, oh, they are just wind undulations in the atmosphere. This is 1,500 miles out at sea. There's no land formations that can disturb the wind formations for thousands of miles. So there's the heating in the atmosphere. You've got other cloud around here, but it's only certain places that show the heat reflection. There's another example. Now we come into weather online. This is the 4th of December. Again, you can see more of these wind direction and perpendicular waves and wind directions, which is in the atmosphere as it pushes up from the jet stream. So let's look at this here. There you see it come in. There's amazing energy that they put into these cloud formations. Now, I'm not saying all of this is generated. Pretty well much 80% is. Because we would have rain this time of the year, and we would have slightly higher winds. But as with everything that they do, they hijack it and actually take it to use as a weapon against whatever agenda that they see fit. Now we know COP21 is in progress right now and is right up until the 11th. So another 6 days to go. And without getting into too much detail, we really know what the agenda is. Over 500 days ago they said there's going to be climate chaos. We're here. We're witnessing it in front of our eyes. Right, smack on, bang on cue. So I'm sure we'll get other reports on this, so we won't hang on this. These are some of the weather problems that have been taking place. And this is mainstream media, BBC News. And this is today, the 5th of December.
The sandbags are ready, as residents fear the worst is to come. All night it rained, and with sodden ground, the water now has nowhere to go. And further south, Storm Desmond.
So what's interesting is we've had rain and rain and rain for 4 weeks, and then they dump massive amounts onto us, which means the rain's got nowhere to go, so it stays on the surface, bursts the riverbanks, and floods the whole area.
Although another 50 millimetres of rain is expected overnight, people up and down the west coast are hoping the worst of Storm Desmond has passed. Peter Dungan, BBC News.
So we've got another 50 millimetres to come yet. Again, here's another one. So I believe they've closed some of the bridges in Scotland as well. Major flooding all around the Lake District. There's probably some worse yet to come as well. I reckon the carbon tax, could be as much. They're not sure yet whether it's between £1,500 and £2,000 per family, or maybe £1,500 per individual per 12-month period. And don't forget, it's your fault. According to them, it's all your fault, so you've got to pay for it. Enough on that one. Now, we are coming to the jet stream. There were some anomalies there which I believe have been doctored out. Sometimes they will actually doctor the satellite pictures, but you'll still see some remnants. Pay particular attention to an arc which appears here and around this area. Let's just see if we can get the loop going. And it goes there. We're going forward. Here, you saw that line start to appear there. That would normally be like one of those rainbow half moon things that you see. I believe that's been partially doctored out, but it's still there. You can see it, and you'll see lines come straight from the south up to this area. So I'll pan it forward slowly. You see that stretch forward, and it takes this with it in a straight line, and then a second one appears here to rotate this round and force that forward too. And then there's your straight beam that comes from the south. There's also some equipment and islands around here, and other places which I haven't got time to go into now, but you can see the massive effect, and you'll see an increase there in the moisture content and the heating that's taken place, which we've just looked at on the previous ones. So let's play this through as it would go in full speed. There, that was interesting that you get these anomalies that like sparklers in the atmosphere is like hotspot areas where frequencies have affected the atmosphere, and you can see there. And of course that shift straight up, part of the jet stream has now been shifted at a fast speed straight up, punch twice there with a third beam, and straight up to the UK. This is interesting because I've never quite seen these many algorithmic type frequencies where we have the atmosphere and the wind direction coming down here. It then turns 90 degrees, all pushed in these waves that you can see here, and a second amount is then blended and it heads north into the clouds formations that we've just seen. I believe this is frequency manipulation, totally deliberate. So yes, they're exciting times. Quite frankly, I don't give a shit about exciting times. I want a normal life for a normal family. But as you know, they don't want us to have this. But be interesting to see what happens over the days ahead and the months. Very worrying in some ways, because they're taking full control of freedom of speech, everything. We know it all, I don't have to repeat it, but it's nice to see it rolling out before your eyes, and some of the manipulation and the energies and the powers that they're using against us. Some amazing exposure taking place. So all the activists that have been active doing it, there has been a massive effect. They never let on how much effect we've had. Why do they put the police on the streets to gag and arrest people? Because a small amount of truth can have a massive impactive effect, and if it became viral, even more so, we only need a few % of the population waking up and it's all over for these guys. Let's hope this happens soon.